Hello and welcome to this week's video. That felt very bad to say. Today we are looking at Does Evil Come From Within Us by Bee's Knees Lacquer. This is described as a blood red polish with blue large particle shimmer. I'm always quibbling with the description. I feel like I need to let it go, but I'm going to do it anyway. In the first coat of this polish, you can see how pigmented it is. But I do want to point to that base color. It is a red, but that red has just a drop of orange in it, just a drop of murk. Like you walked by an orange factory and some powdered orange wafted on the wind and settled on your nails. So it is a red, and absolutely a red, but just ever so slightly warm. I think in regards to the murk, the color is very saturated, so I'm not sure about it seeming dark. It's not that kind of murk. But there is that slight dirtiness to the red. It is a bit hard to interpret the color because of the shimmer. And also the quibble with the shimmer. I don't think it's a shimmer. I think they're just straight up flakes. Never have I had to push shimmer back onto the edge of my nail, and I had to push several flakes back from the edge of my nails. That's not an experience I associate with anything except flakes. And those blue flakes pull the base, despite being warm, to look like more of a blue leaning red. It looks more purple. I do think it looks like blood, especially when the flakes are taken into account. But I was just taken aback because I wasn't expecting with that very warm base to get an overall very cool toned polish. I am maybe a bit odd in that I do love an overwrought, overdramatic nail polish name. And this one really tickled me. Ever so serious for a nail polish. Now normally I will do a third coat of a non-opaque polish for the video, and I'm going to be honest, most of the time that's for you. I'm usually happy in 2 and I know I will wear it that way, but I do 3, sometimes for confirmation with myself that I didn't need 3, but also because I thought others might want to see what changes. There is the odd time that I do come to the conclusion that a polish will always need 3 for me as well. And don't get me wrong, I'm not bitter or resentful about this. This is something I'm choosing to do. I just see it as a third coat for science, if you know what I mean. I don't begrudge doing that. But for some reason on this day, I just refused to put on a third. My brain just said, nope, you're stopping in 2 and we're done and we're moving on. It's very pigmented. I knew the color of the base was not going to change anymore, and all that was going to happen is that I would get more coverage for my ridges and for my free edge. And I was wearing a very sheer polish on my other hand, which the hamster polish, of course, and I wanted the 2 to at least match in feel to some degree, and I knew that third coat was going to throw that. So I just stopped at 2, and there's no science today. This may have also just been me being salty that I was only doing 1 video a week, so take that how you will. Maybe don't read too much into my decision making here. Now that you can see this in the sun, I'm sure that you can see those blue flakes individually and see how large they are. I do think they make the polish look magenta overall. When I lift my fingers, I think you can see past the flakes and see the warm base again, and I think at other times it's visible sort of at the edges of my nails. This isn't an extremely shifty polish, it's more of a what you see is what you get, but here in the sun especially, the flakes just look blue. This polish is from their Nosferatu collection, and I actually haven't seen the film yet. I do normally love a gothic horror movie, as much as I do love a gothic horror novel, but I just haven't happened to get to that one yet. I haven't even finished The Lighthouse, so if that gives you an idea. My habits for music are basically replicated for movies. It just takes me ages to get to anything. In the shade, the flakes almost look like a shimmer and seem more homogeneous on the nail. It is much harder to pick out individual flakes now, but it also still just looks very magenta. I did catch the flakes looking purple when I'm over at the left, and I think between the sunshot and this one, you've got a very good idea of the coverage that you get in 2 coats. 2 was plenty for me, but certainly a third would cover up my ridges and nail line more. I don't think it would have covered it completely. Even when I go to the BKL website, there are a couple of photos that I think have 3 coats, and even those show a tiny amount of nail line. But those people do also have much longer nails than I do, so interpret that how you will. This polish does remind me of the traditional colors of a Morning Glory. Yes, they have more purple than they do that reddish color or the pinkish, but they are the right tones even if they are in the wrong ratio. Inside, I think you can get some feel for the murk I was talking about. This isn't a clear jelly. It has some amount of a crelly feel. I don't really want to call it a crelly because it feels like the base has more substance than a clear jelly, but it is still fairly transparent. Again, the flakes look blue into purple to me here, just like in the shade. At the window on the right, they look blue, but over to the left and the artificial light, they look legitimately purple to me. And that is all for today. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe so that I can boil my morning tea for weeks on end until it is a very thick paste. Then I will form that tea sludge into a ball and polish it to a sheen, claiming it is alchemical magic. Please enjoy a clip of my unfortunate squirrel with the broken back leg.